You wake up before your alarm. You don't need it. Your body already knows. For most of human history, this was the only way anyone ever woke up. No buzzing phone. No snooze button. Just light, hunger, and the sound of camp stirring around you. For roughly 300,000 years, this was every single morning. Now imagine trying to live through the rest of that day. Not visiting it. Not reading about it. Actually living it, with your body, your habits, your soft modern hands. You would not last until noon. Start with breakfast. There isn't one waiting for you. No fridge, no pantry, no gas station on the corner. Anthropologist Richard Lee spent time in the early 1960s living among the Jew/hoansi people of the Kalahari Desert, tracking exactly how they spent their days. What he found surprised almost everyone back home. Adults worked around 15 hours a week to meet their basic food needs. The rest of the time was rest, conversation, childcare, and craft. That number broke a popular myth. People had assumed prehistoric life was a non-stop, miserable scramble for survival. Lee's data suggested something closer to the opposite. Hunter-gatherers were not starving. They were, in many ways, working less than you do right now. But here's the part that would break you. That 15 hours wasn't easy. It was 15 hours of hard, skilled, physically demanding labor, with zero guarantee of success. You don't know which plants are safe. You don't know which tracks belong to which animal, or how old those tracks are, or which direction the animal went. Every piece of that knowledge takes years to build. Children in hunter-gatherer societies start learning it before they can read, if reading even exists in their world. Anthropologist Polly Wiessner studied the Kungsan people and documented something else you'd struggle with immediately: the social skill required just to eat. Meat from a big kill wasn't kept by the hunter. It was shared, according to strict, unspoken rules, across the entire camp. Wiessner found that HXARO, a system of gift exchange, bound people together through debts of food, tools, and favors that could stretch across a lifetime. Miss those social cues, misjudge who gets which cut of meat, and you don't just embarrass yourself. You put your future survival at risk, because those relationships are your insurance policy against the day you catch nothing. So let's reconstruct your day. Morning. You leave camp with a small group. No map. No trail markers. The landscape itself is the map, and you haven't spent a lifetime memorizing it. Within an hour you're lost, or close to it, while everyone else reads the land like a sentence. Midday. The sun is high. You're thirsty in a way you've never actually experienced, because you have never been more than a few steps from a tap or a bottle. Finding water isn't a convenience here. It's a skill, tied to knowledge of specific plants, animal trails, and terrain features passed down for generations. Afternoon. Maybe you try to help gather food. Archaeological evidence from sites across Africa, including research tied to Blombo's cave in South Africa, shows early humans were processing plant foods and using tools with real sophistication tens of thousands of years ago. This wasn't primitive trial and error, it was accumulated expertise, refined over an almost incomprehensible span of time. You, meanwhile, can't identify half the plants around you, and guessing wrong isn't a minor mistake. It can be fatal. By evening, you're exhausted, sunburned, dehydrated, and you have contributed almost nothing to the group's survival. And you haven't even faced the actual threats yet. Here's the twist nobody expects. The danger wasn't mainly other animals. For a long time, the popular image of ancient life was full of predators around every corner. Saber-toothed cats and hyenas stalking early humans at every turn. That threat was real, but it wasn't the main killer. Bioarchaeological research on skeletal remains across multiple ancient populations points instead to something less cinematic. Infection, dehydration, childbirth complications, and everyday accidents, like falls and infected wounds. The greatest danger to prehistoric humans was often the same thing that quietly threatens humans today, just without antibiotics, without emergency rooms, without stitches. A small cut on your foot, ignored in your world for a day or two while you look for painkillers, could become a serious infection here within the same window. You have no antiseptic, no bandage beyond leaves or ash. Just your immune system, and whatever plant-based remedies the group has learned to trust through generations of trial and death. Now think about nightfall. This is where the day would genuinely humble you. Sleep researcher Jerome Siegel led a study observing 3 modern hunter-gatherer groups, including the Hadza of Tanzania, and found something that upended assumptions about ancient sleep. They didn't sleep longer than modern humans. If anything, they slept slightly less, averaging under 6.5 hours a night. But their sleep was tightly synced to actual darkness and temperature, not a screen glowing 2 feet from their face at midnight. You, on the other hand, spend your evenings staring into a rectangle of blue light, and your body has no idea what time it actually is anymore. Drop you into a hunter-gatherer camp at night, with no phone, no light switch, and nothing to do once the fire burns low, and you would likely feel restless, understimulated, maybe even a little panicked. Not because the environment is threatening, because your brain has been trained by modern life to expect constant input, and the deep quiet of true darkness feels foreign now. This is the counterintuitive part. It's not that ancient life was harder in every way. In some ways, by the numbers, it demanded less raw time and offered more rest, more social connection, more physical movement built into daily existence. It was harder in the ways that matter most, when you're the one standing there with none of the actual skills. 15 hours of work a week sounds easy, until you realize those 15 hours require a lifetime of accumulated, hard-won expertise you simply don't have. You'd fail immediately, not from laziness, but from the sheer depth of knowledge that a modern life never asked you to build. And that's the real mirror here. You already carry expertise. It just isn't this expertise. You know how to navigate a subway system, read a spreadsheet, calm down an anxious coworker, fix a piece of software, or talk your way through a difficult conversation. Someone dropped into your life would fail within the hour too, overwhelmed by things you do automatically, without even noticing the skill involved. The hunter-gatherer didn't have an easier life. They had a different one, tuned by necessity to their world the same way your life has been tuned, often without your permission, to screens, schedules, and someone else's definition of a workday. You still wake up before your alarm sometimes. Your body still remembers how to do that much, at least. The rest, the deep, specific, lifelong competence it takes to actually survive a single day out there, that part was traded away a long time ago, piece by piece, for everything you have now.